downtown, someone said that you're coming by. Let me know when you're here, meet me up for a smoke outside. I regret what I said.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Also welcome if you are new. Today's video is redoing my dad's garage. We had only 2.5 days to give my dad's garage just a little bit of a revamp, nothing too crazy, but needed to be cleaned, needed to be painted, and all the things. Luckily though, I have an awesome family, so even though I was fairly useless in this process due to having an injured foot, my mom was there, my aunt came, my husband, everyone was around to get this thing done in, like I said, 2.5 days. My dad was actually on a trip with his brothers that he does every year, and we knew this would be the perfect time to tackle this garage. He's been talking about it for a while, but I think he was just so overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that needed to get done that I knew if we went in, even if we didn't make it absolutely perfect, but we did the base cleaning and painting and stuff like that, it would give him that motivation to do anything else that he wanted to do to this area, since this is definitely my dad's man cave.
I'm back where we started, in that hallway. We couldn't keep our hands away from each other. Did you ever tell her I have to sleep in the bed I made? I don't sleep much at all these days, 'cause you always pick me up and let me down. You're spinning.
If you guys are new here and wondering what happened with my foot, I shared a little bit in, what was that, Tuesday's video, that I ended up injuring it, and that was literally days before starting this project. I even told my husband and my mom when she took me to the ER, it was like, you know what, it hurts and all this stuff. I'm like, but the first thing I thought about is we had this whole project for my dad planned out, and we couldn't really reschedule it. So I definitely wanted to do a lot more with this garage. There was some shopping stuff I wanted to go and get and really like give it a proper makeover, but needless to say, I was not about to be walking around any stores in the condition I was in, so we refocused our energy into just getting this clean and organized, decluttered as much as possible before he got home. This was day one. Day one, we pretty much just wanted to focus on cleaning and emptying the garage because I knew the next day we wanted to paint. So getting that prep work done is one of the things that always takes the absolute longest.
If we do, then if we don't, then if we give in what we want to what we want.
Don't need your pity, don't need anything from you. You made me someone I'm not. You made me realize what I got. Don't want your sympathy, your eyes so full of tears. I got my friends who got my back, so don't pretend you're all I have. You can't come crawling back here no more.
You can see Freya was here with us. Freya absolutely loves going to my parents' house. She treats their house like it's her own, which I love, and I know my parents love, because they always want the kids to come and just act like it's their home. And she was so good these 3 days, and the boys. The boys were at school at the beginning of the day, but we spent pretty much as soon as we could in the morning till it was dark outside at their house trying to get this done. And all the kids were so good. You can see my foot down at the bottom. That is because as much as possible, I sat with my foot up and iced. I tried to help. I did. You'll see I get up and move around. But like I said, this was right after hurting my foot, so I was pretty much
All around, don't want a thing here to remind me of your presence, 'cause I'm much better without. No need for memories at all. I'm done erasing you, my love. I'm crawling back here no more. First you love me, then leave me, then say you're lost without me. I found myself without you, I'm sure. Look at me now, I survived, so don't you worry about me. Ooh, baby, don't need you to love me, so you shouldn't worry.
The other thing we were really trying to focus on this day was decluttering, because the very next day was trash pickup, and we knew we wanted to get as much as we could to the curb as possible, because our trash collection here is pretty nice. They pick up pretty much anything. If they can throw it in the truck, they pick it up, so that is really nice. But we really tried to rush this out. It was nice having Bobby around, though, because us three girls in the garage, like, we have an idea of what to do, but having a man's perspective for a guy's garage was really nice. It was also fun because my dad had so many cool little, like, posters and things that he had in his garage but didn't have them displayed well, that it was really nice to be able to find all these things, clean them up, and actually display them for him, because he had things with his motorcycle and racing, firefighter gear, all sorts of stuff that weren't getting any of the recognition. Oh, this shot is because everyone said I have to show what I was doing most of the time. I forgot an ice pack this first day, so I was using okra on my foot, and everyone said I had to show off using the okra to ice my feet.
I took a bite, and now I'm filled up. I don't know where you are tonight. Cause you're right, I've been starving and now I don't know what to do tonight. But I've been feeling like you're pretty easy to like. When your body is closer to mine, you got me feeling like there's no one other than you who can make me lose my mind. You start me up like no one has ever could. You fuel my fire. What are the odds we end up loving it? Spending every minute together. I found it quite odd, quite lovely.
So originally we were actually hoping to keep these cabinets, but as we got into it, we noticed how much they were really falling apart, and my dad was kind of using them as a dump zone. They weren't organized. A lot of the stuff in them we ended up having to just get rid of because of dry rot and everything. So we ended up just completely tearing it out and decided, instead of Dad having like his little desk area, which consisted of a folding table, we would set up like a little lounge area, because I know when we go over there, also, for everyone who always comments on me in bare feet in a construction zone, this is my mother. So now you know where I get it from. But whenever we go to my parents' house, like, this is where my dad hangs out, and we'll just sit out there and chit-chat and stuff. So giving him more like a lounge setup, we figured would work better.
Fire, fire, you feel my fire, 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 you feel my fire, 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 you feel my fire, 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 you feel my fire. Let's keep this.
All right, so we are on to the next day. We got all the prep work done and everything. I wanted to go in and spray, because this spray gun, like any tool, it has its little quirks, and Bobby has never used it. I've used it multiple times. So I ended up just taking my little knee scooter around and spraying the whole garage. It was something I was able to do, and like I said, I know the little quirks with using this, and yes, you guys will be happy. I was wearing a mask. My mom and husband were both yelling at me about wearing a mask because of the pregnancy. I usually don't like wearing them because I feel so just, I don't know, constricted. I know you're supposed to, but I don't normally. But I was on this day. They had yelled at me enough that I made sure to put it on, and it's really hard to argue when someone is bringing up the health of your child. So I didn't really have an option, but you can see how huge of a difference just spraying. We sprayed all the walls, the ceiling. I started with a coat of the Kills primer to really help with any discoloration, as well as just help the actual paint hold. And just putting on this layer of Kills was so much fun because it had such a quick and dramatic transformation. I loved it.
Cause one day we'll be looking back at this. We were in a big mess together. But we found a way to choose right from wrong. We found the strength to go on together. To go on together. Yeah. To go on together.
Also, you will notice we weren't really concerned about the garage floor. One, it's a garage floor, so if I got a little paint on it, it wasn't a huge deal. But two, my mom is now hoping that since we have this done, that hopefully they can get their floor refinished. That is definitely something that I told them I would hire out professionally. Bobby and I have done our garage floor before, but there is so many little steps that if you don't do it right, it peels and then it's a disaster to deal with in the long run. That I did tell her, I 100%, if you want to do that for Dad, I would go for it, but hire someone to do it, especially if you live in an older home that you have the oil spills and just all the stuff that builds up over time from living in your house and working in your garage. We are also going over all the doors. They needed a good paint job anyway, and the cabinets as well. And this primer works really, really well. So I went over the glass and everything, and we didn't have to deal with any peeling or anything like that, at least as of so far. Once again, this is a garage, so we weren't as concerned about some of the process of this because it's not like it's inside their house. This is an area where my dad works on his bikes and does all sorts of other stuff where things get dirty and beat up anyway. But talking about things getting beat up and dirty, whenever I paint a garage, I use a semi-gloss. I go a little bit higher on the gloss than I would on the inside, purely for cleanability, because there is a lot of dust and grime and everything that goes on in a garage.
I don't need you, I don't need you, yeah. I need a new apartment, my own safe haven, and not the dump you live in. I don't need you, cause I got high ambitions, a boss vision, I'm granting all my wishes. I don't need you, cause you've been blocking me and you've held me back from day one.
Later that night, once more of it dried, we also started moving in some stuff. My mom had cleaned a lot of the pieces while they were outside on the lawn, just with the power washer and Dawn spray. But Bobby also was putting up a new ceiling fan for my dad, as well as a new light fixture. He replaced it years ago, but didn't know as much about electrical and stuff, so Bobby was able to go up there and do it more properly. Once again, another day. This is day 3. I am trying to stay as useful as possible, so I'm here folding towels. You'll also see me later organizing the tools. Like I said, trying to be helpful as much as possible in this situation. One thing we did end up getting Dad for the garage that was new. So the only stuff we actually bought for the garage was paint, the ceiling fan, and then this tool chest. My dad did not have a proper tool chest, so his tools were just everywhere. Bobby found this tool chest on clearance, so my mom ended up picking this up for him. That way we were able to completely organize all of his tools. And I have to say, I was actually surprised how many tools my dad had. I never realized he had as many as he did until we were organizing them into all the different areas.
You can reach me, cause I'm too high to fuck on. I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you,
Also, this was Bobby's favorite thing, which is no surprise. If you guys know my husband, he's a gearhead that loves his tools and everything. So having this area for my dad, he was super stoked about. Plus, he has been slowly giving my dad more and more tools as he's upgraded his own tools. So I think he liked having the excuse of being able to donate some of his still good condition tools to his father-in-law.
Look at the same old stars, battle the same old wars, like so many times before. And I know that we're not perfect, but I'm gonna miss all that we had. Yeah, I know that we're not perfect, but I need this night for the last time. Stay, stay. No, you're gone in the morning, but I'll be okay if you stay, stay.
So you guys are going to recognize this sofa. I was going back and forth. This sofa is from our sunroom. We have 2 of them. And I knew I wanted to move the chairs that were in our bedroom into the sunroom. And then I was trying to figure out what to do with the sofa. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll put it in the nursery when we set up the nursery to have somewhere to sit. But our nursery is going to be pretty small, so I wasn't sure about that. And then I got to thinking about Dad's garage, and I'm like, this is a way to give Dad something really nice for his garage. And I love this sofa. Like, I did not want to get rid of it, so it's a way that I can still enjoy it and the family can still enjoy it without just storing it. So it works really, really well. He already had a chair out here, but this way he has the chair, the sofa. We ended up just grabbing a table from their front porch. Like I said, I wanted to do a lot more shopping. My original plan was to go and buy them a new table and a rug and a couple things, but needless to say, none of that got done considering the situation. So I was just here trying to clean as much as I could, organize as much as I could, and pretty much just be emotional support.
Over the same old town.
And then on this back wall, we knew we wanted to put up shelves. Like I said, we had found a lot of really fun stuff that my dad had and didn't really have on display. So we wanted to have an area to show off some of the different items that he had. So Bobby was putting up these shelves. And then we were able to put his firefighter stuff on one, his racing stuff on another, and some of his bike stuff. You can see Freya was really excited about having the sofa there as well. We call it her parkour couch because when it was at our house, since it was in the dog room, we were a little bit more lenient on the kids jumping around and playing on it. So now that it's at T and Papa's house, she was all about just jumping around and having a good time.
Oh, I would say it all, tell you more about my lonely nights. Just hold me now while I hold you tight, 'cause I pull you in, then I throw you out, but I swear it's never easy, no. Now we're standing here at this plain place while I'm giving in and you're reaching out, but I swear it's not that easy, no.
This bin, by the end of this day, though, became my arch nemesis. There were so many little nitpicky things in here. This is from Bobby going through all the random tools that Dad had and just getting rid of anything that was rusted or not good anymore. And then I had to go through and organize to the best of my ability. I didn't know exactly what I was doing with some of it, but I had a pretty good idea, so I just went around while they were setting up the rest of the garage since my dad was coming home on this day, and we didn't know exactly when on this day. Like, we knew it could be anywhere between lunchtime and dinner time. we had no idea. So we were literally just rushing to do as much as possible, knowing that he could return home at any time.
But I swear, it's never easy, no. Now we're standing here at this plain place while I'm giving in and you're reaching out. But I swear, it's not that easy, no. It's not.
All right, on to the befores and afters. Just to give you a reminder of what we were working with. I will tell you the afters aren't as good as I was hoping to get because it was pitch black outside by the time my dad got home. He ended up hitting traffic coming from Tampa back home and didn't get home till much later than originally expected. But I did try to get as many good afters for you as possible. And then at the very end, you get to see my dad's reaction, which I think is a typical man's reaction. I will say he was really, really excited with the way everything turned out. I can just tell by how much he's been doing out in the garage that he really appreciates it and has been enjoying every second of having his garage turned more into his own little oasis.
I'm so tired of these late night talks, saying things that we don't mean, that we regret in the morning.
I can figure out if I open the wrong garage door. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?